Welcome everyone to our mini master IEP coach training. Now, a lot of times I bring a specific hot topic. I bring a specific strategy that you should be working on right now. But here's what we're going to do today. I want you to go ahead and post your questions below, even if you're watching the replay. Post them below. Because I just got done with a master IEP coach training session with those who are already master IEP coaches. So if you're not a master IEP coach, you can head over to masteriepcoach.com and find out how to become a master IEP coach. But we just had our office hours. So we have virtual office hours where master IEP coaches across the country come into a Zoom room with me and we talk about all different things. And the topics were all over the place, but there was a common theme. And there's a common theme that I think a lot of people are not talking about, how severe it is right now. And it's kind of like two things that are going together. One is a lot of things are being said in special education that are simply not true, such as we can't make changes to an IEP meeting, to an IEP without an IEP meeting. It's not true. You can. There's a lot of debate over what an IEP can control and cannot control when it comes to mandates that are happening in our schools. But throughout all of the questions that I just went through with master IEP coaches, the teacher who was in the room, so yes, teachers become master IEP coaches too. Master IEP coaches are parents, teachers, admins, therapists. I asked a teacher, I said, how are you doing? And this is a special education teacher who's a leader in her school. And she said, I'm doing fine, but the rest of my school is not okay. This is the first time they're back in the building in over a year. And everybody set up their classroom. They've set up everything to make sure that things go back to normal as best as possible. However, what they're finding is that teachers and students are crumbling under the pressure of getting things back to normal. They haven't been in the building together, just dealing with people, right? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about here. Just dealing with people in a different way than we have in over a year has become overwhelming. And then we have all of the IEP issues on top of that of, is the child making progress? What is their current baseline data? Are all the supports, accommodations in place? How are services being delivered? All of these things are coming in on top of just, can we get through the morning routine at school? Can we figure out, our morning calendar time of what day it is? I mean, how many of you lost track of your days when, we've been going through what we went through over the past year and a half, and then we have summertime, right? So a lot of us lose track of time and what day it is. And now we're back on a schedule and we've got bells ringing and we've got different expectations. So what I want to make clear today is, number one, if you have any questions about what's happening in your situation with special education right now, go ahead and post that below. But what I want to make sure that everybody hears clearly is that it is okay to discuss as a team what needs to happen immediately, like right now, to help get a child back on track. And that may look different than what you thought the priority was going to be when you got back to school. I am not saying to lower expectations. I'm not saying not to work on IEP goals. I'm not saying to let go any of the obligations of the IEP at all. I'm not saying that. The IEP has to stay intact. But how we get to the IEP goals might take a little bit more finesse, a little bit more intention, a little bit more prep work to say, like, okay, so we thought we were going to be able to get through the morning routine independently, but at this point, we're not even close to where we used to be. And the child is struggling to the point where they don't even want to come to school. So let's step back and see, what do we need to do? How do we need to adjust the steps leading up to this goal? So we're still working towards it, but we have to adjust from where we are starting from. This is going to happen for our social goals, our emotional goals, our academic goals, all our communication goals, all of them. You might be trying to work towards a goal and start from where you were, from where you left off, or from where you were working in a different environment. So what this looks like virtually versus in person, or what this looked like with half the people in the school versus all the people in the school. So if you are struggling, if you are a parent seeing your child struggle, if you are a teacher seeing your students struggle, if there is a struggle that is happening and you're trying to figure out how are we going to get to these goals because we can't even get through whatever that is, that's a precursor to that goal. Just remember, it is okay to step back and start maybe 3 steps back from where you were to get back to. Now, I want you to document it. I want there to be strong data of why are we not taking data. Let's say that a child is supposed to do a part of their morning routine, this morning calendar routine that has to do something with their, like putting their schedule together independently. And we're supposed to be taking data on that. But right now we're struggling with getting the child to calendar time in the morning, or to be able to sit, or to these things that used to be easy are now very hard for some students. So it's important to document and not continue to push a child to the point of a meltdown because they're not doing things how they used to. No, take the data and figure out where do you need to start. And it might not be where you thought it was. Now, for many of our students, what's going to happen is that they are going to catch back up, which I don't even like that we're talking about it like that. Okay, but they're going to get back to baseline quicker than it took the first time. Okay, this is not like, oh my gosh, we took 3 years to get somewhere and now we lost 3 years worth of work. No, most likely things will speed up and we'll kind of close that gap to where we were before and where we are now. Most likely we're going to close that gap pretty quickly for most students in most areas. What's going to actually delay that is if you don't take the time to step back and start and meet the child where they're at and then go forward. If you keep pushing from the middle of where it's like, feels like starting in the middle instead of starting at the beginning, then that's going to delay getting back to baseline in that way. All right. So I want to encourage everyone again, if you are not a master IEP coach, I'd love to see you in the master IEP coach mentorship. I'm telling you, these are the parents, teachers, admins, and therapists that you've been looking for to help you make a difference for yourself, whatever your current role is on the IEP team. Or if you want to help other people through the IEP process, we have both perspectives come into the Master IEP Coach Mentorship. We've got teachers that love their role and they love being a Master IEP Coach and having leadership skills to use in their school. We have parents who come in, they can't wait to become a leader at their child's IEP table. And then we have those who come in and they want to help themselves and they want to help others. They want to help others navigate this IEP system and bring the solutions that make sense to each individual child. And I'd love to see you over at masteriepcoach.com. Remember, if you are struggling because you can't pick up where you left off, it's okay to step back, take the data, figure out where do you need to start, meet the child where they're at, and then get moving forward. I'll talk to you guys soon.